I had a cup of tea today. I feel like it's very fitting. And I didn't burn my tongue, so that's a plus. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be doing a little review of all the books I read in May. I ended up reading 7 books. 2 of them were audio, and most of them were ebooks, and then 2 were physical books. If I mention your favorite book low on this list, I'm sorry. You're still allowed to like that book. I would love to hear what you like about in the comments. Maybe I'm just full of it. Last on the list, in 7th place, is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I hated this book so much. The main premise of it is that this woman, Sydney, is living in New York City. She starts dating a guy and she low-key thinks he's a murderer. That's basically the book. And it switches back and forth between her and her hot doctor boyfriend's past, growing up. I rated this 2 stars, and I almost never rate anything lower than 3. I've never rated anything 1 star. I've only rated a handful of things 2 stars. Because, at the end of the day, I think there's something to be enjoyed in any book. There's always something I can pull from it. It is rare that I hate a book so much that I just, swear off the author forever. I've heard that this is not one of Frida McFadden's stronger books. I haven't read any of her other books. So this was my introduction to her, but I feel like I'm never going to read a book for her again. And just without giving anything away, my biggest problem with it was that I could not stand Sydney, the main character. I hated her. I thought she was so flat and uninteresting and annoying, to the point that at the end of the book, when the reveal happened, I was hoping she would get murdered. I just did not want to deal with her anymore. I also felt like the plot twist was not predictable necessarily, but once you got there, you're like, oh, okay, this is the direction this is going in? Cool. I didn't like the twist. I was super into it. I thought I had figured it out, and then it was just kind of something completely different, and I was like, my version was better. That is the bottom of the list. I listened to it as an audiobook while I was cleaning my room, so I might have missed some things, and maybe if I went back and reread it, I would understand the plot twist better, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't hate myself. Next on the list, at number 6, is Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine Valente. This one I actually rated 5 stars. I did really like it when I read it, but compared to all the other books I read, it falls short for a couple of reasons. First off, the basic plot of the book is it's very surreal, dark fantasy. It kind of feels like a fever dream, and it's, if you've read Rebecca or Mexican Gothic or Jane Eyre, it kind of has that vibe in that the main character is in love with her husband, and her husband has a dark secret, and the book is her figuring it out. So the main reason this book is so low on the list is because it's about 100 pages. I listened to it as an audiobook, again, while I was cleaning my room. It was 2 hours. It was really good and awesome in the moment, but it doesn't sit with you for very long. So it's not something I am going to carry with me for a long time. I did really like it though, and I would recommend it if you like novellas, and if you liked Rebecca or Mexican Gothic or Jane Eyre, if you like that story of the husband has a dark secret, then I recommend it. It was very good. So number 5 is actually a book that we read together. And if you want a breakdown of my whole review, my whole thoughts while I was reading the book of this book, you can go back and see my first vlog where I read it, while also crocheting and doing some other stuff. So this is A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson, and I did end up liking this book more than I thought I would. I will say I'm not a big fan of YA anymore. I'm in a different phase of my life. I relate more to adult characters now than teenagers, and that's a lot of YA is. It's teenagers acting like teenagers, which, has its place, but it's not necessarily for me. So I thought this was a really good YA book, and I did really like the dragons in it. Also, just synopsis of it. It's 1920s. There are dragons. The main character accidentally starts a civil war, and she has to go like help do code breaking stuff. It's very like World War II vibes. It's very fun. Again, I love the dragons. I couldn't stand the main character Vivian for most of the book, but near the end I kind of got her a little bit. So that's kind of why this is in the middle of the list. It's because like I enjoyed it, but you know, it wasn't necessarily for me. I ended up rating that one 3.5 stars, which is about how I rate most YA. At number 4 is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. This was a 4-star for me. The basic premise of it, it's literary fiction. This woman just decides she wants to sleep for a year, and then once she's done sleeping for a year, she's gonna have some sort of like massive transformation. It's really trippy, and the main character is just completely delusional. It was very good, and I did, after this, look up all of Moshfegh's other books, and I want to read all of them, because I just loved her writing style. There's something both very, like, poetic and just dry about it. Like, some of the language she uses is so simple, but the way it's strung together makes it have so much weight. This book gave me panic attacks, though. Like, I usually read at night before I go to bed, and I would have to like read a chapter and then watch like compilations of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia funny moments before I could calm down enough to go to sleep, because it just like it would like get to me, which it can take a lot for me to have an emotional reaction from a book. So I did want to rank this one higher, but compared to some of the other books I read this month that also made me feel big things, it doesn't hold up. I think this is going to be one of my favorite books for the year, though. It's not for everyone, though. Like, I feel like you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Like, there's no, like, middle ground with this book, because it's just such a specific brand of delusion. Third on the list is The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Now, this is a series of 3 essays about race, pretty much. He goes to Africa, South Carolina, and Palestine, and talks about racism and segregation in those areas. It was very good. I do like his writing style. I rated it 4 stars. It was so heavy. Like, it was so good, but it really just was a lot. Which is, I've been trying to read more nonfiction this year, because it's good for my brain, and I want to keep learning and growing, especially since I finished my bachelor's. I'm not taking whatever classes I want anymore. Now I'm more focused on very specific subjects, so I want to keep, reading things I would normally read in my classes. But damn, I would recommend it. There's only so much you can do to stay informed while also protecting your mental health. Like, you have to find a balance, and I definitely had to find a balance with this book. So, number 2, I actually do have a prop for this one. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I love Leigh Bardugo, if you might be able to see, but I have, 5 of her books. I read this as, I think, a sophomore in high school, and I fell in love with it. I am gonna probably read all of her books this year. I've only gone through this one and Siege and Siege and Storm so far this year. And I think the Six of Crows duology is just her best work that I've read. Like, I've kept reading her as she's come out with her adult novels, but they don't feel the same. If you don't know what Shadow and Bone is about, it is YA. This is one of the only YA books that I actually would read 100 more times, that I actually rate 5 stars. Main character realizes she has magical powers and is tasked with, like, fighting a war and saving the continent. Very, like, standard story, but her world is just so rich, and her characters are hilarious, and they have so much depth to them. I do feel like this is another one where you either love it or you hate it, but for me, this is just exactly what I want. Like, I read this in 3 days, and I was forcing myself to, like, go through it slowly so I could enjoy it. So, the only reason this one isn't number one is because this, as much as I love it, it is mostly entertainment. I don't feel like it grows my brain very much, or I don't feel changed after I've read it. Shot on Bone, 5 stars. Entire series is 5 stars, honestly, and I will keep reading it. I only read like 40 pages of Siege and Storm during the month of May, but I have finished that one. That one's also a 5 stars. Now, for my number one book of May is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This book, I was not sure I would like it, and then after the first chapter, I was hooked. Incredible. 5 stars. It's literary fiction. The main characters are this man and woman from Nigeria who both immigrate to America and the UK. And they have vastly different experiences in those countries, and they end up both coming back to Nigeria. And so it's really a story of their friendship and their love for each other, and then mixed in also with the experience of being separated and then being in a country that has a history of racism. It was so good. It was so heartfelt. Her writing style is just exactly what I want from a book. Her characters were so lovable. Like, this book made me cry. It was like a religious experience reading this book. I'm probably going to read everything else that she has written. That's one of the best books I've read this year. I adored it, and I came away, like, it made me think. I came away from it feeling like I had grown as a person, you know, which I think is really cool that books can do that, and I've been trying to read more books like that. So those are all the books I've read in May. I have a little list of some of the books I'm going to read in June, and let me know which ones you guys are excited for, and I will probably do a little review of them at the end of next month. So, right now I'm reading Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maier? I'm not sure if that's right. I read the first book earlier this year, and my friend really liked the first book, so now we're reading it together. I like the first book. It's very silly, but it's very fun. It kind of reminds me of, like, Gail Carson Levine, but, like, as an adult and way more tongue-in-cheek, but it is very fun if you like more casual fantasy. So reading Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I hope that's how you say their name. I heard a little bit about this author. I wanted to read something from them, and this Freshwater seems like what I'm kind of looking for right now, so we're going to try that one. I'm also reading This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson for Pride Month, and also for my nonfiction book of the month. Try to read at least one. Sometimes I get up to 2. We'll see if that happens this month. And then I'm reading Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I've been on hold for this book for like 2 months. It should come through in June, but we'll see. Lastly, The Honey Witch by Sydney Shields. I think all of these books actually are going to be on my Kindle. I also might read Princess Bride this month. I adore the movie. The amount of people who haven't seen the movie is insane to me. Go and watch that movie. It's incredible. It is so good and so funny. Just perfect. So I may read this, but usually I also need a physical paper book to read this month for when I'm outside, and I don't want to take this one because it's like really nice paper and it's been illustrated, and I don't want to ruin it. So, but I'm not really sure what book that'll be. So that's what I'm reading next month. Let me know what you're excited for. Let me know what you guys are reading next month, and follow along, and you'll hear more very strong opinions that I have about books. Until next time, see you!